Sonic 2 is widely held as one of the best 2D Sonic games ever created. With that in mind, it's no wonder that it's now on Switch. What is a bit odd is that it has 2 official releases on the platform. Just last month, the game was brought to the eShop as the latest entry in the Sega Ages series from the incredibly excellent developer M2. But before that, it was part of the Sega Genesis Classics, a collection of Genesis titles that released at the end of 2018. So let's say you're looking to revisit this iconic game in 2020 on your Switch. What is the best way to do it? Let's get one thing out of the way right off the bat. These are both great ways to play Sonic 2. What's going to make one rise above the other is what you're looking for in a modern Sonic 2 port. We'll start with the Sega Genesis Classics version. If you're looking to emulate the original with some modern conveniences, this is the way to go. The game itself is the exact same content you get popping in the original Genesis cartridge. While there is no new content to the game itself, there are plenty of emulation options which make this version both convenient and pliable to how you want to experience that nostalgia. All the games in this collection support multiple visual filters, aspect ratios, frame borders, scan lines, and even screen curve. The last of these is a personal favorite of mine. While it's possible to push the effect out to an almost comical degree, a more subtle implementation does a solid job of giving off that old-school feeling of a curved CRT. As expected, this version supports save states, but also features not only a rewind function, but fast forward as well. Regardless of your feelings on Sonic 2, I think it's safe to say it occasionally leverages some cheap deaths and, of course, has a few glitches. Call it cheating if you want, but I love being able to quickly reset without even having to load a save state. As for the Sega Ages release, it's got a bit more going on behind the scenes. Unlike the previous version, this isn't the original ROM. As such, it includes a variety of new features. However, before we get to these, I want to touch on one visual improvement that will make a big difference for players who want to play in split screen. The original game compressed the screen vertically in such a way that the entire game was resampled very poorly, resulting in a blurry image for both players. The Sega Ages version fixes this problem and produces visuals that much more closely match the single-player game. It is a stark difference and worth picking up the Sega Ages version for this fact alone if you plan to play with a friend. As for new features, Sonic fans will recognize the drop dash that was originally introduced by Christian Whitehead. There is also a new health option that deducts a set number of rings from your total when you take damage rather than forcing Sonic to drop all of them. There is also a challenge mode and rankings for all modes. Like the Classics version, the Ages version also features save states, but does not feature a rewind or fast forward. The visual customization is also comparatively limited, though not bad. Unlike the classic version, the Ages release also features the option to play as Knuckles via the Sonic 2 and Knuckles option in the main menu. Performance across both versions is identical, and each provide excellent play experiences whether docked or handheld. In order to decide which version is best for you then, it is necessary to ask what you're hoping to get out of it. The Classics version is very accurate to the original, with an incredible amount of emulation options along with both save states and fast forward and rewind features. The Ages version, on the other hand, adds a variety of new features to the game that will especially appeal to high score seekers. The Ages version also includes Knuckles, but then again, the Classics version comes with a ton of other Genesis games, including Galaxy Force 2, which is a fantastic game. Ultimately, those looking for the original version with some modern conveniences should probably go for the Sega Genesis Classics release, whereas those looking for a fresh way to experience Sonic 2 in 2020 might want to lean toward the Sega Ages version. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, give it a like, and let us know which version you picked up, or if you got both. We got both, so won't judge. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to Nintendo World Report TV for continuous Switch coverage and coverage of all things Nintendo, and check out NintendoWorldReport.com for a whole lot more. If you'd like to chat with us, head over to our Discord, there's a link in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel, then stick around for some information on our Patreon. I'm John Reardon, and I will see you next time. This video was made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Did you know that Nintendo World Report is funded directly by fans like you? When you support Nintendo World Report on Patreon, you get immediate access to multiple exclusive podcasts every month, exclusive Discord channels, an early look at select content, and more, all for as little as $1 a month. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.